it possible to turn the music off? Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Alicia Nichols Gonzalez. I am the organizing manager for California and the interim organizing manager right now for Colorado as well. So it is nice to see those of you who I know. And if I'm meeting you for the first time, I'm really excited to do so. We have a really great program planned for tonight on the Inflation Reduction Act rebates. And particularly those that EnergySage can help us navigate and as part of our partnership with them. And so we are going to be introducing you to Kim Berkowitz as well from EnergySage. And so Kim, did you want to come on and just say a few words about yourself and who you are before we go into our mission statement for Mothers Out Front?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. So excited to be here today and present with Mothers Out Front. I saw someone calling in from Brookline, Massachusetts. We are neighbors. I'm right down the street. And fun fact, EnergySage was actually founded in Brookline, Massachusetts over 10 years ago. So very small world, calling in from Massachusetts. There's a very hot heat advisory. And my fun fact is I am a mother of a wild toddler and one coming very soon in the next couple of weeks. So thanks so much for having me today and look forward to presenting.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. And we are really looking forward to this as well. And let's go over the agenda that we have for tonight. So we're going to be getting to know each other a little bit better in breakouts before diving into the presentation that Kim has planned for us regarding IRA rebates, some myths and facts. And then we're going to talk about what we can do around these rebates in order to be able to access some of the solar or a couple of the other benefits that Kim is going to be talking about as well that are available in some areas too. So does someone want to volunteer to read our mission statement at the top? So who we are. If someone's raising their hand, I can't see it. But you can just come off mute too and start reading. Starting at we.
We build our power as mothers to ensure future generations enjoy just access to a healthy environment.
Awesome. So we've been doing a lot of strategic planning and visioning and talking about our mission statement and our vision. So Mothers Out Front is founded on the conviction that there is no more powerful force for change than women transforming unjust systems to ensure a healthy climate for all children. When we come together, we know that when we come together for social and racial justice to tell our stories and share our dreams for our children, we cannot fail. The three areas that we are focusing on right now in terms of campaigns that Mothers Out Front is working on fall into these areas or these buckets. The first being a just transition to renewables, accountable electeds for healthy schools. So a lot of this we've been working through the school boards, and then fair access to federal and state funds to renewables, which is what we're talking about tonight. And so we're going to go into our breakouts right now, and we'll have 6 minutes. You'll be in groups of 2 or 3. Just to talk about how familiar you are even with the IRA. It's brand new. And so, what do you hope to learn about the rebates tonight? So we'll be doing that for 6 minutes and then we'll bring you back. Hi, everyone. As people come back, if folks wanted to share in the chat what you talked about in your small group. So are you familiar with the IRA rebates and what do you hope to learn tonight? Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Oops.
Y'all kicked us out.
Welcome back. Please share in the chat. What do you hope to learn tonight? What did you talk about in your group, in your small groups? Any funny stories? You can share that in the chat as well. But what do you hope to learn tonight? And I am going to turn it over to our guest speaker now from EnergySage, Kim Berkowitz. So glad to be doing this partnership with Mothers Out Front and EnergySage. And we will dive right in so that we have time after the presentation for questions as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alicia. Is everyone seeing my screen all right? Just started that screen share. Oh. Yeah, again, Kim Berkowitz, really excited to be here tonight, calling in from Brookline, Massachusetts, with EnergySage, and here with Mothers Out Front to talk about the Inflation Reduction Act. So let me dive in. Some slides prepared for you all. We have a quick overview of EnergySage, who we are, our marketplace solution for renewables, and then diving into the IRA. I also want to touch on community solar as well as heat pumps. Typically, EnergySage is focused on solar, but we're expanding much more to additional renewables. So I wanted to add in some fun other ways that you can help electrify your home as well. How to get started and some next steps. We'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. And just as EnergySage is a resource of education, we have numerous articles and information resources. So I'm happy to share those with you guys as well if there's any questions that we don't get to or additional, more specific details that you guys are all interested in. So let's dive in. So EnergySage is an online renewable energy marketplace. We currently serve the US nationwide, and we want to empower people to make smarter energy decisions through simplicity, transparency, and choice. We were originally funded over 10 years ago by grants from the Department of Energy. We've won 3 Sunshine initiatives from the Department of Energy. And recently, as of last year, we're acquired by Schneider Electric to help advance our education resources and marketplace solutions, hopefully beyond the US in the years to come. So really excited about our potential and our potential impact on creating a space for folks to come learn about energy, learn about solutions, and also find fair market values for technology. We have a ton of information. So let me click over to our next slide. Some of our key highlights and resources. One is an instant estimator for solar rebates and finances. So you can input your information without us capturing anything. It's a solar calculator. We teamed up with Google Project Sunroof, which has great LiDAR data and kind of metrics on the home maps. And you can get a quick instant calculation of what the economics could be. This takes into account recent market data on pricing, available state incentives. We've categorized and cataloged all of the available state incentives. We try our best to keep up to date on all of that. And we have some amazing partners like Mothers Out Front, as well as some resources like our solar. We have a catalog to show all of the panels that are available. So if you want to nerd out, you can take a look at our buyer's guide and side by side look at hundreds of panels, look at their spec sheets. We partnered with NREL to do that, the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Or you can watch some fun videos and just learn about the basics of solar, heat pumps, electric vehicles, community solar, battery storage, etc. So lots of fun ways to use our site. But our marketplace solution, if you're looking to get connected with local vetted vendors, we do have a marketplace solution. So you would sign up, connect you with, we'd be able to deliver quotes for solar in a standardized format, all online. So you're not receiving any calls, unwanted calls, and we connect you with a dedicated energy advisor from EnergySage who's there to kind of play that role of an unbiased support. So that's the EnergySage marketplace solution. Again, we have lots of resources for solar, but we are expanding outside of solar as well. Does EnergySage work in New Hampshire? Yes, we do have some coverage in New Hampshire. Happy to share some links, or you can go ahead and sign up on EnergySage to see which local vendors are available. And we also have installer profiles, so you can simply search if we might not have full coverage in your state, which we are active in about 42 states. You can see online reviews for other states as well. So this is our partnership page with Mothers Out Front, and you can sign up here or click the link in the chat to learn more. I see a couple questions coming in. We do have some articles with Rewiring America. I don't personally work with them, but yes, that is one of our partners. So overview of diving into the Inflation Reduction Act and what that really means. So this was part of an amended version of the Build Back Better Act from 2021, which was a companion to the reconciliation bill for the Jobs Act signed into law November 2021. It was able to pass from a simple majority, and after a full year of negotiations, actually signed into law last year. This authorized $370 billion, so the largest ever investment in renewable energy, and we're really excited about that. And it will, there are plenty of ways for you to directly tap into those funds. So big investments in solar, battery storage, heat pumps, additional appliance upgrades, some fun EV and hydrogen fuel cell credits as well, and then other general energy efficiencies. So one of the biggest ones, the solar tax credit. So the ITC actually is from back in 2006. There was a 30% ITC investment tax credit for solar. So 30% of the total cost of your solar installation, you're eligible to apply for back on your state taxes. So that's a great credit. And this is now, it was set to sunset back in 2 years ago, 2021, it was 26%, stepped down, it was meant to sunset, and now it is in progress back up to 30% for the next 10 years. So we're really excited to see that. As prices of solar have decreased over time, this makes solar such a great investment, great return on your investment, and kind of reduces that time to get your system paid back as well. So about $6,000 is the average of what we see, depending on the size of the system. Now, for the first time ever, it also includes batteries. So it is now technically not the ITC. It has rebranded to the Residential Clean Energy Credit. However, in the industry, you'll hear ITC. That's not going anywhere. So the investment tax credit and the Residential Clean Energy Credit, interchangeable in terms of what we're talking about here. Additional electric and efficiency upgrades for your home improvements, $1,200 annually. Heat pumps has a separate one that's up to $2,000, so we'll touch on that in a minute. And then electric vehicles and fuel cell vehicles we can cover as well. So some key takeaways. Again, the ITC is the biggest one for solar, 30% extended through 2034. That's for residential home service systems. There are additional benefits for commercial, structured a little differently. So there are some adders. There's a base of 6%. It can go all the way up to 60%, depending on the actual installation. What that could mean for you is utility scales, more community solar projects coming online. We'll touch on that in a little bit as well. But some of those larger scale projects will start to see more and more common across the US, which is exciting. Standalone storage and also storage coupled with your solar system is also eligible for that 30% tax credit. So that's a huge benefit as well. If you're adding in storage, it's still a tax credit though. Some people who don't have tax appetite. Great question. Correct. So it is a tax benefit. This also plays into nonprofits. So some nonprofits may not have the full tax appetite. A couple things you could do. You could potentially look into a lease or PPA with a third-party solar system. If someone else is taking advantage of that 30%, that could be savings that comes down to you in that regard. But overall, we typically do find ownership is still the most beneficial for your system if you're able to do that. Another point, thank you for sharing, it does roll over. So if you're not eligible to take advantage of that 30% in year one, you can kind of roll that over year so that you do capture that full benefit. Cool, great questions. And there's extended heat pumps, mini split, air source heat pumps. Those are going to be more common in the coming years as well. Europe has really taken on that technology, and we're just starting to see that in the US. Some places like Florida, Massachusetts, I installed them myself actually a couple of years ago, and it's been great. We're in a heat wave in Brookline now, so it's really nice to see. And then the EV tax credit is an additional, yes, it's also a tax credit, but with the electric vehicle one, it is interesting that you're able to take advantage of that during the purchase. So you can actually upfront that rebate and take advantage of that in the purchase. So let me just fast forward here. Great, so the home battery systems, if you are looking to couple a storage capacity or have a battery storage alone, that can, oops, sorry about that. That can, now it's a much larger availability for that, whereas previously it had to be coupled with the solar system to qualify. So now it's loose and there's a lot more advantages to including a battery storage, especially if you're in places like California. California just instated net metering 3.0, which means there are different time of use depending on the pull from the electric utility, you would be charged different pricing. So by having that storage, you can really control your utility costs and have much more. While that is specific to California, we may see that expand to different states as well. So understanding how net metering works with your solar system and the utility, it's good to keep in mind how a battery may actually benefit you. Some of the additional heat pump overviews and electrical upgrades that you can take advantage of through this so again, that's up to $1,200, and things that qualify: air sealing, home energy audits, additional electric upgrades, and things like your electric panel upgrade. Prior to 2023, you were eligible for only $500, and this really expands that. Air source heat pumps, up to $2,000 for an annual tax credit is available for the next 10 years, and up to $8,000 in additional rebates. There are still some state pending legislation, so you can expect your installer to set you up with the correct rebates and break down everything, but we are waiting to see how some of that is processed by the state, and if you could potentially couple more. There are additional benefits, but you'll at least be able to take advantage of these if you are looking to install air source heat pumps, or heat pump water heaters has up to $2,000. One interesting fact is if you're looking to install both, I would actually do them in separate years so you can qualify independently for one or the other. I don't think you can combine them in the same year. So make sure if you are interested in multiple savings just for heat pumps to apply separately. And electric vehicles. So there is a $7,500 tax credit through 2032 on new electric vehicles. There's no longer a vehicle cap. So things like Tesla, there was a 200,000 vehicle cap, and they quickly met that cap for the tax credit. Now they've lifted that tax credit but there are still requirements in place, such as where the vehicles are manufactured and how much income you make. So I believe the current, again, at the end of this, I will share plenty of resources for you guys to be able to review if you do have personal questions. But I believe the dual income is $300,000, and the vehicle itself, if it's brand new, has to be under, if it's an SUV, $85,000, and if it's a regular vehicle or car, $55,000. So they're kind of pretty high caps in place there, but you would want to make sure that the car itself is eligible for this credit. And I can send you a quick resource so you can easily find which cars and vehicles would be eligible. And then you just want to make sure that you have the appropriate income or tax credit to apply for that. And with that, again, you can take that credit upfront during the purchase of the sale, which is great to see. And one of my favorite things is the used EVs are also now, if it is a first resale of the electric vehicle or hydrogen fuel cell, you can save $4,000. So that's definitely a nice benefit. The electric vehicle has to be the first resale within the last or prior to the last 2-year model. So it can't be like I purchased it and just instantly resold it. And there are similar income requirements, the same as the brand new EV in place. And so that was a lot of information. I didn't get to too many of the questions here, so I'm happy to review that. I see people are still chiming in. Let's see. Oh, it's just some hellos. So yeah, feel free to introduce yourself if anyone has questions. Now, it was a quick overview of what the ITC and the IRA have to offer today, but I'm happy to jump into some questions, Q&A, or we can start talking about, let's see, I have an overview of the EnergySage marketplace. So some of the steps to go through the solar process, what that really looks like. A lot of people start with research. So looking into your area, is my roof suitable for solar? How much am I going to be costing me? Things like that. We have a tremendous amount of content and articles on EnergySage, and typically people find us just from a simple Google search or being connected through one of our partners. Our marketplace solution is able to generate multiple quotes from local vetted solar installers. So we vet everyone who's on our marketplace, and because we're an online solution, most of the installers put their best foot forward. So they're able to save about 20% on the average cost of solar. They're not knocking on your door. They're going through our online process, and it's a standardized quote. So you'll see side-by-side quote presentations, and we do include standardized information on how much you would save from the ITC, what that looks like, and additional local state solar rebates. So anything that would be available in your state, it's in the best interest of the installer to show you that, so you can see the full benefits of solar. And then we have a great team of energy advisors who are unbiased. They don't work for a solar company, they work for EnergySage. And so we're able to help you break down the basics of solar and answer those questions of what's the difference between these two solar panels, why you might want a micro inverter versus a string inverter. And if you're looking for, a way to go solar affordably, or if you want the absolute best panel that's on the market today, we can kind of overview what the differences are based on your preferences. From there, you can select a quote. It's a full turnkey solution. So once you're selecting the quote, your installer will come out, do a site visit, confirm that everything's good with your roof, and finalize the quote if there's any changes that need to be made, as well as do a full installation. So the actual installation itself takes about a day or two. Roofers are on your roof, they set the racking, the panels themselves connect the inverter, and all of that connects to your utility grid. Install a battery if that's in part of your installation, and then they simply would connect that through the actual utility. There'd be a PTO, permission to operate, and that would go through. So once that's all in place, it can take a couple months. The actual install again takes a day, but from that initial site visit to scheduling everything, it could take maybe a month to get that fully PTO approved and operational. Once you're online, you start saving money from the utility, start generating your own electricity, and then during the next tax season, you would apply for the IRA. So it's a simple form, the 5656 form, I believe. We have a whole article on how to apply for it as well, but you would simply, with your taxes returns, apply for that, and that 30% would be eligible from that tax appetite. So high level overview there. And now I wanted to make sure that we added some options for renters, or potentially if solar is not feasible on your roof. Community solar is a great product that you may be driving down a highway and see a huge solar farm, or look for, some of those larger solar installations are actually utility scale, and folks can sign up to be a member if you pay an electric bill. So that means you could be a renter, you could actually have a solar system, but maybe you're adding an electric vehicle and you need to supplement, and you want to supplement with clean energy. Community solar is a great option to go solar. You can sign up, you can cancel at any time, and typically you can save about 5 to 20% on your electricity bill by subscribing to a community solar farm. So if you're interested, EnergySage has a community solar marketplace. You can simply start with your zip code, see if there are options, and we'll give you side-by-side comparisons of what's currently available. Because this is relatively new, maybe a couple years old, we are anticipating a lot more community solar projects to come online in the coming even 6 months. The exciting thing about the IRA is it did include utility and commercial scale benefits. So it's going to be, a great opportunity and very economic to create some of these projects and thus help the communities with this. There are even additional incentives for community solar farms in income eligible, so low to moderate income eligible, as well as if they install on brownfields. So great way to use brownfields, great way to help folks save even more, up to 50% if they're income eligible, and really support that utility resiliency. This is the current list and locations of where community solar is offered. But again, even in the next 6 months, we'll see lots more states provide legislation. Lots of them are currently reviewing it right now. And with this IRA, it's going to create those utility scale projects, which we're excited about. And heat pumps. So covering on, as we mentioned, there's the $2,000 heat pump incentive for in part of the IRA, as well as additional heat pump water heating, heat pumps, air source heat pumps, mini splits. They're incredibly effective at heating and cooling efficiently. They operate similar to a refrigerator by displacing hot and cold air, and their ductless options, their ducted options. They're a very popular way to heat and cool your home in zoned locations. And we have now a marketplace in Massachusetts, Colorado, Florida, and California. So we're going to be expanding our marketplace solutions as well, but great to look into if you are in need of an electric upgrade or heating and cooling upgrade. One of the interesting things that I find in our marketplace is that most people aren't going to make a decision on heating and cooling until their current system breaks. So when your current system breaks, typically that's during an emergency situation. Maybe there's a heat wave or a blizzard and you really need power, or you really need to heat or cool your home. It's always good to do the research beforehand. So even if you're not interested in making that purchase now, start to look at other energy upgrades on how we can, electrify our homes, so that when that decision needs to be made, you're already educated and you kind of know how to move forward, or what your preferences are, what you might need to go through. So quick overview of everything we covered today. I know we have just a couple more minutes until Q&A. So the IRA for solar is 30% for residential, heating and cooling up to $2,000, again, through the next 10 years, and up to $8,000 rebates, state dependent. For heat pump water heaters, there's an additional $2,000. I would recommend separate years if you are going both, but you can apply one or the other, and up to $1,750 in rebates. New electric vehicles and fuel cells, $7,500 when you purchase that. Income dependent, that's a $300,000 cap for a family. And for the first time, used electric vehicles, up to 30% or $4,000, whichever is less. Income dependent as well, same as the new EVs. And we have an awesome team of expert energy advisors. I hear them all day answering great questions. So if I don't get to some of your questions today, or maybe you have a more specific question, feel free to reach out to our energy advisors. You can find them through the link that I shared. And if you do have quotes or sign up on EnergySage, they can review that. If you have an external quote, we can review that as well. So they're really great at kind of answering questions, making sure things are within market range, and kind of explaining some of the questions that you may want to ask your installer, or just helping, explain some stuff. And finally, if you do have any feedback on our presentation today, or if you have specific questions that you don't want to ask the chat and you want to just reach out directly, here's a quick form. I will shoot that link in the chat as well. We would love to hear from you, and we can connect you with an energy advisor, or take your feedback to learn what we can talk about next. So with that, I will open it up for some Q&As. I haven't been able to read through the chat, but I'm happy to, feel free to call out any questions.
Oh, really quick, Kim, for folks who want to come on camera really quick, I have been asked to see if we can do a screenshot, like group photo really quick. So I'm going to do the screenshot, but if anyone wants to be in the photo, just please come on camera, and I'll do the countdown and everything like that. And then we'll get into the Q&A. That way I can make sure we get the photo before everyone starts leaving. So, but thank you so much, Kim, that was amazing. Okay, so let's do the photo now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, smile. Awesome. Thank you so much. And then I'll kick it back to Kim for Q&A.
Excellent. Yeah. What do people hopefully we learned something. Let me see. I can stop sharing my screen, but I do have lots of articles and information. So I really covered the high level basics.
I know there were some questions in the chat. We can go to some of those if you wanted to scroll through.
I have a question. I got a reach out from the Hyundai company, and I heard something about them combining sales of EVs with doing solar. Do you know anything about the companies they use, or whether or not I'm gonna just get ripped off by a company that's pairing, or whether or not people have had good experiences with that.
That's a great question. And that's one of the reasons why I would recommend just checking in with one of our energy advisors. We can take any quote that you do receive. Things that I would look out for is quality of equipment, system size, where they're placing it on your roof, just kind of general design, making sure that that's appropriate. And then one of the main things to kind of get a gauge on if it's a good deal is called the price per watt. So we were able to break down the equipment itself to a price per watt. If you're looking at excellent rated equipment in your state, we have state level pages where you can make sure that all of the eligible rebates and incentives are in that quote, right? You want to make sure that you're taking advantage of everything that's available to you, but you also want to make sure you're getting a good deal and they're not just getting the price per watt up and it's, just general. So there's plenty of reasons why people might want to go for a more affordable system. If they have plenty of roof space, if you're in Florida, anything you put on your roof is going to generate electricity. Or some people really care about, getting the most out of their technology and wanting it to be high efficient panels. So having a smaller system in place that maybe generates more electricity might cost a little bit more, but we can help you gauge what that looks like and if it's a fair market value, if it's within reason of what we see. But because there's been a lot, lots of people knock on your door and try and sell you a solar system and you don't know what it is and they'll make up a price. It really is wild to see what some people get away with. And it's, it's a great product. So we want to make sure that you're getting a good deal and you're understanding the quality and everything there. So that's what I would recommend.
And also, have you noticed, is there any difference in the quality of the American solar panels versus the Chinese? I mean, early in the quality control in the Chinese panels was told to me, they can certainly make them cheaper, but is that bearing out now? I know that from about 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's a great question and a really cool resource that we actually partnered with NREL, the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. We created a buyer's guide so you can see a catalog of all of the panels. So you can actually take a look where they're manufactured, if they're rated. We have a kind of a general good, better, best, excellent rating system. So you can see something that's good versus excellent. Again, good doesn't mean that I wouldn't necessarily go with it. It might just be something that's a little bit more economical or affordable. If you have plenty of roof space, want to save some money, good option for you. But the excellent rated panel, you'll see is a higher efficiency. You can take a look at all of the spec sheets. So it really does break down all of the information, but then we try and simplify it. So excellent simply means that it meeting the top rated of some of those spec sheets, which include hail ratings, include energy efficiency, degradation. And I would say the panels that are available on the market today, even in the last 5 years, they're all great. Most of them are warranted for 25 years. There's no moving parts. Even after 25 years, there's nothing that says the panels will stop producing energy. So many of them can outlive 30 plus years. They're not going to just stop on you. And with all the smart technology that we have today, if there is an issue, really quick to identify which panel is underperforming, and you can simply replace that with a warranty or take action if needed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I see a hand raised. Lionel, did you have a question?
Yeah, hi there. Thank you so much for this presentation, Kim. This is brilliant. So EnergySage is doing some seriously cool work. Where all do you offer, what are all of the places where EnergySage does installations? Is that different for solar versus the other types of things that you install?
Yeah, great question. So we've been in business for over 10 years. Our solar marketplace is the most comprehensive coverage that we have currently in the US, and that's in about 42 states. There's some states kind of in the middle where solar just isn't as popular. That being said, we have great resources. You can even look up local installers and reach out to them and find enough information to be powerful on the EnergySage site. So I would say our marketplace solution, we try and you can receive up to 7 quotes. In California, you're absolutely going to receive 7. Massachusetts, you're going to receive multiple quotes in states that have had solar for a long time. And then you can compare the quality. We have great installers on our network. We make sure that we work with them to, you know, they love our marketplace too, because they're connected with educated customers who are motivated, and you know, it's a simplified experience. They're not wasting money running out and knocking on your door. It's kind of just bringing the industry up to an online marketplace solution. So yeah, so heat pumps specifically, we're operational in 4 states, but we do have plans to expand that as well. So for now, we have a ton of educational information. So if you just want to be, you know, sharpen your skills and know what you're talking about, I'd recommend looking at our heat pump overview and 101s, and then hopefully we'll have coverage in your area soon, if not now.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Let's see. John, did you have a question?
Yeah, I've been trying to locate on your website, the rating for heat pumps, and I couldn't find it.
All right.
Any suggestions, or you want to send it out later? That's fine.
Yeah, you bet. I just saw a couple there. So let me first send out our buyer's guide for the solar panels, and then I will send you our
Yeah.
heat pump 101. Good question.
Yeah, the buyer's guide would be great.
Yeah.
Thank
You bet. There we go. I know it's funny. It didn't even say. Let's see if that works. So here's our buyer's guide. And then let me find our heat pump. Let's see, and another hand raised. Jean, did you have a question? I apologize.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is an easy question to answer or not, but I noticed that I saw somewhere something about needing to improve the efficiency to get the tax credit. So like I have an unusual situation. I'm trying to get rid of the last little bit of propane that's heating my hot water, but I have a tankless. And so if I go to a hot water heater with a heat pump, I might not increase the efficiency of the system, but I'm hoping to get the tax credit. So can you speak to that?
That is an excellent question, and I'm not quite sure the answer. I would definitely, I'll follow up. I'll do some research if we do have any specifics on that. A lot of the rebates are currently still being defined by the state. So some of that, can you multiply, or can you add them together? If it's from the federal government and then the state has a separate rebate, hypothetically, you could be able to benefit from both. And many states do have specific heat pump or other energy efficiency updates as well. So I would assume you may be able to, but I would just want to double check that from.
Yeah, well, and it's not so much about using both, but it is a requirement that you have to actually improve the efficiency. Yeah, so
yeah, it would be hard to measure. So,
right.
but potentially, right, if you're updating the electricity and electrifying, even if it's not a one-to-one match, I'd be interested to.
Yeah, I think I'm in Virginia, and I think I saw something about that on one of their rebates. So that's what made me worry a little bit. All right, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I'll follow up if I find anything on you in Virginia.
So I know we have a few hands raised right now, so I don't know if how many of these you already have on stack, Kim, but we have Crystal, Susan, and Roy whose hands are raised.
Yeah, go for it. Alicia, I'll let you call out people. Okay, I just have a couple of screens I'm going through, so.
Okay, great. So Crystal.
Oh, I assumed I was the last to raise my hand. Sorry. So
Sorry, I didn't realize that.
I'm wondering how soon, like as several people in the chat have wondered, how soon will these new IRA options be available in terms of rebates and financing options and support? Because my household is trying to do this like within the next couple of weeks. We already have quotes for some of the work that we want to do. It's for mini splits, not for solar. Our solar situation is more complicated, but the question stands regardless, like how soon might this actually finish rolling out?
Yeah, great question. Technically, now you should be eligible for it, but some of the states by the end of the year and hopefully sooner, we'll have much more refined details on what those look like. But that's really, right now you're eligible for them. It is signed into law, so up to $2,000. I think some of the state specific requirements will be whether you can couple additional rebates on top of that. If they're only funded through federal, you may be able to add in additional state incentives rather than that kind of overlapping and taking over. So these would be kind of what I would assume is the minimum of what you would be eligible for the IRA and ITC. They're eligible now. And for example, the solar specific actually was grandfathered from 2022. So even though last year it was a reduced percentage, that's actually all the way up to 30% now too. 2 years ago, it was 26%, and that's not eligible, but it did include 2022 as the year of it starting because it was signed into law last August. So anyone at any time in 2022, if you installed solar, you get that full 30% rebate.
Awesome. So we've got Roy, Paula, and Susan who still have hands raised, but I know it is 4:27, so we just have a few minutes. Let's see if we can try to get through as many of these as possible. So Roy.
Yes, thanks. I took a look at your website looking to contact an energy advisor and didn't see how to do that. I didn't see a click thing for that. Can you explain how to contact an advisor?
Yes, absolutely. And sorry if that wasn't, I just popped my personal email in the chat, so feel free. Oh, that was to Stephanie. Let me make sure that is shared with everyone here. Roy, I can send it to you. kim.berkowitz@energysage.com is my email, but I believe solarteam@energysage.com is the official kind of general email, but we just updated our site navigation. And I believe under the About Us at the very bottom, there's a Contact Us. Yeah. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom of our website and hit Contact Us, you can inquire there, or you can reach out to solarteam@energysage.com and one of our energy advisors will get back to you for any specific questions. We have kind of a dedicated, they might route you if you have a heat pump question, if you have a community solar question. We have different experts on the team who handle some of those.
Terrific. And one last question, if I may. I'm curious, is the income based on the taxable income or the AGI or modified AGI? And does it apply to the time that you sign the contract or when the installation is completed or some earlier point in time? Thank you.
Yeah, great question. It's upon contract signed, so that is the date. And I believe it's AGI, but I'm not a tax professional myself, so I would definitely reach out to your tax professional just to make sure that you are applying and understand the full benefits that you're eligible for.
Great, thanks very much.
And then we are collecting all the questions in the chat too. We have the chat saved. And so we'll be able to follow up with some answers for you all as well. But Kim's email is in the chat as well. So, and then we've got 1 minute left. Susan and then Paula.
Thanks. I'll try to make it short. We got our solar system in 2019. And if I ever win the lottery, I want to add a battery. I buy a ticket every week. And I'm wondering, what they said was wait until the price comes down. I think the lowest was about $13,000 and we might need to add an inverter. Can you tell me approximately what a battery, whatever a standard battery would be, is costing right now? Because I haven't been keeping up with the prices.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And it definitely depends on the capacity what you're installing. And now you're eligible for that 30%. So I would say
Exactly.
probably less than the 13,000 that you had previously been quoting for. And take into consideration, so if it's 9,000 and you have that 3,000 or 30% tax credit, it can be a much more affordable option. But I know they are not necessarily bottom line cheap yet. I would anticipate that prices still go down, but honestly, with the 30%, that's the best incentive we've seen to date on those products. So still a great, great thing to look into and check for pricing now, which you can do on our marketplace or state specific.
Thanks. That's really good news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paula, you can go.
So I own a two-family house, and my rental unit pays their own electricity. So what I would actually have to have two systems for solar. So can I get a rebate on both?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there are some rules, and New York, I would want to look into that specifically for what I would recommend is you could hypothetically get one system and have something called virtual net metering and take the excess credits from your system and apply it to the bill. That being said, if you have two separate meters, that's where the two separate systems would play into. But hypothetically, even if it's a separate meter and you're overproducing on your electric bill, you would assume the second electricity bill and credit off of that. So there would be a way for you to oversize one portion. But depending on the layout of your home, it may make sense to have two separate systems in place. But if there's basically a couple ways you could do it. I don't think you need necessarily two systems. You could oversize one system, take the excess of electric credits and apply that towards, again, virtually, so virtual net metering on the second meter. But then you would want both meters under your name rather than the meter under the renter's name. And then you could charge more for rent or assume that benefits some other, break it out some other way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. That was, we do try to keep these short and sweet. And that was so much great information. And we really appreciate you coming today. Just a reminder, we have all of the questions that we're going to be following up with, and we will be sending out this presentation and this recording as well. So thank you all so much. Join us next month. In August, we're going to be meeting about the Farm Bill, which, as we know, has a lot more implications for our work here in many of the states, actually, that we are active in. So I put that link in the chat, and let me make sure to, and Stephanie just put it in there as well. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thanks.